For many new fans of MF Doom, one of the lesser known cases of his career was the time Doom was denied re-entry into the United States. But why exactly was Dumile denied re-entry into what he and many of his fans would have considered his own country? To properly understand Doom's situation, we must first go back to his birth.
Circa 1971.
Born Daniel Dumile in Hounslow, UK, Dumile's family would immigrate to Long Beach, New York in the United States only a month after Doom's birth. This is where he would reside for the next few decades along with several siblings. Most of us know the story from here. Growing up, Doom first becomes notable in the rap world through KMD, but reaches higher levels of acclaim through his villainous persona of MF Doom. While starting off relatively obscure, Doom would climb through the ranks of the underground till eventually hitting his mainstream peak with the Adult Swim project, The Mouse and the Mask. For the following years, Doom would take a break from writing rhymes, coasting off his lucrative career and even landing a sneaker deal with Nike. This break wouldn't last long, with Doom returning to drop his final solo album in March of 2009. By this time, Doom was ready to pick his career back up and planned an extensive European tour for the following year. This, however, is where our problems spring up, as Doom came into the country on a visa and was never able to properly become a permanent resident by acquiring his green card. Doom had mistakenly believed that he would be able to secure his re-entry based on long-term residency and the fact that his family also resided in the country. This of course would not pan out, as these things do not equal lawful residency. It's a long story, and I'm not going to bother getting into Doom's lifelong struggles with the US immigration system, but if you would like to learn more, there's this great article by Noah Yo. According to Doom, upon returning to the US, he met with an official who, quote, wanted to see just how many people she could make have a bad day. Following this encounter, Doom would be forced to move back to the UK, estranged from his family for the next couple of years, only able to see them through video calls and their occasional visits. Over the same course of time while stuck in the UK, Doom would link up with producer Jneiro Jarel to begin creating his next major project, Key to the Cuffs. Doom would use the frustrations from this situation to fuel the bitter themes of the album, with his resentment being put on full display with song titles like Banished, or lyrics like the supervillain's been kicked out your country, and he said the Pledge of Allegiance 6 times monthly. Even the title to the album, Key to the Cuffs, serving as a metaphor for Doom's unfortunate circumstance. While on a trip to Jamaica in 2012, Doom would attempt to re-enter the United States one more time through Miami, but was once again rejected. After 2 years, Doom would finally be reunited with his family when they moved to the United Kingdom, where they permanently resided. It was around this time that Doom would famously proclaim in an interview with Q magazine that he was done with the United States. Notably, fans would petition to the Obama administration to grant Dumile US citizenship. This, however, like many Change.org petitions, would make no difference. 10 years after his unceremonious rejection, President-elect Joe Biden would feature the iconic Coffin Nose instrumental on his administration's inauguration playlist. This decision would spark backlash from hip-hop fans who were upset considering the fact that it was under the previous administration that Joe Biden was a part of that barred MF Doom in the first place. Speaking of the previous admin, for those of you who don't know, 44th President Barack Obama does a yearly recap of his favorite music. And for 2022, he featured the track Belize from Danger Mouse and Black Dot's album Cheat Codes, a song which includes an MF Doom feature. As you may have guessed, this inclusion once again sparked backlash for the same reason. A lot of people are quick to claim that Doom is at fault here, without properly understanding just how oppressing and unfair it is to deal with the United States immigration system. Most Americans can barely deal with a trip to the post office. Now imagine dealing with that, but there are 50 levels of bureaucracy and you're paying thousands of dollars in lawyer fees and form submissions with the potential to be deported. Doom had spent his entire life trying to receive permanent residency. As far back as 1977, his mother would begin the process to establish Doom's lawful residency, but unfortunately, due to a lack of funds, she was unable to complete the process. Fast forward to 2004, Doom applied for permanent residency under a section of US immigration law that offered a path to permanent residency for immigrants who entered the country before 1972. With the help of a lawyer, Doom would submit unequivocal evidence of his lifelong residency, including the report card his mother submitted almost 3 decades ago. Despite this, the USCIS would request additional proof, citing household bills, lease agreements, and bank records as examples of legitimate evidence. But Doom, being a literal baby when he first arrived here, obviously didn't have any of that prior to 1972. 4 months later, the USCIS would formally deny Dumile's application, with the notice stating that the decision could not be appealed. If you think that's bad, consider the fact that till this day, there are thousands of people that have to deal with the same exact circumstances. The United States was the only country Dumile knew, and for him to be banished from what was essentially his true home is absolutely ridiculous.